Game 7 Sunday night, Cavaliers, Pistons. I've got analysis for the side, total, player props, free plays, free picks for Game 7 coming up right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV. And if you're liking these free NBA videos, thumbs up, like, comment below, and click subscribe and click the bell. You'll know when my Game 1 Western Conference Finals is ready for tomorrow night, Monday, between the Spurs and Thunder. But of course, we got a huge Game 7 first this Sunday night on Prime, 8 o'clock Eastern. Cleveland, Detroit. Pistons stayed alive in Game 6 as I thought they would. I gave them to you in the video free here on Friday. Also had a strong client best bet on the Pistons. We also had a strong best bet on the Spurs Friday night. So I thought there'd be one Game 7 on Sunday, and it played out like I thought. And it is Detroit-Cleveland. And of course, heading into Game 5 a couple nights ago, home team in the Cleveland Cavalier playoff games was a perfect 11-0 straight up, 10-1 against the spread. And then the Cavs pulled the road upset, and then they lost at home for the first time. So back-to-back road wins. Still, though, the home team is 11-2 straight up this year in all Cleveland Cavalier playoff games, and that means bad news for the Cavaliers on the road, especially considering long-term Game 7 home teams are over a 70% play straight up. Now, it hasn't worked as well in recent years. Road teams have been more competitive, and in round one of the Eastern Conference, we saw the Sixers win outright at Boston, but then the next day, we saw both of these teams, Cleveland and Detroit, win their Game 7s at home by double digits. We also saw the Pistons overcome a 3-1 deficit to the Magic in the previous round, and it looks like they're doing the same thing here, coming back from behind in what was a 2-2 series. And as I said in the video Friday when I gave you the Pistons, one of the reasons they were a strong client best bet is I think they're the better team in this series. And you know I love the comments. I read them. I reply back, and many of you said, Steve, what are you talking about? Pistons aren't the better team. Well, they looked like the better team on Friday night. And if you look at the overall 6 games in this series, while it is tied up 3-3, and while I did tell you back in Game 1 I thought it would be a back-and-forth close series that would go 6 or 7 games as it has, Detroit's been the better overall team. Let's break down the series so far. Games 1 and 2 at home, they won them both by double digits. Cleveland was in a great bounce-back spot in Game 3, and as expected, we had a strong best bet on the Cavaliers. They did win Game 3 a week ago at home by 7, and they did cover the 4.5, 5.5 point line, barely. But keep in mind, Cleveland also shot 58% from the field in that game and only won by 7 points. Now, I thought Detroit would maybe bounce back in Game 4. They didn't. Cleveland once again won by 9, kept that strong home court streak going. But if you dig into the box score, they won by 9 points despite outshooting the Pistons by 12 points from three-point range. Detroit still shot 51% from the field. And what jumped out to me in that game was that the Pistons had a 50-34 edge points in the paint. And Cleveland's got some size, and they still got outscored 50-34. I thought that would serve Detroit well in Game 5. Well, it didn't because Cleveland pulled the upset, as you know, last week in Game 5 to take the 3-2 lead. But keep in mind, once again, Detroit blew a 9-point lead with about 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Game went to overtime. Pistons blew a 15-point lead overall in that game in Game 5. And there again, Detroit had a 48-38 points in the paint edge, a 23-7 fast break points edge. The difference, once again, was 3-point shooting, as Cleveland was +9 from 3 and won by 4. We took advantage of that in Game 6 the other night, and the Pistons dominated the game. It was close at the half, a 3-point game, and then they pulled ahead. They were up by 14 after the third quarter, ended up winning by 21. And to put in perspective how impressive that road win was on Friday night, they tied an NBA record dating back to 1960 for the biggest road win for a team down 3-2 in Game 6. That 21-point win dominated the game, outshot the Cavs 52-39 on the road. Also, once again, 3-point shooting finally fell for the Pistons. They had a plus 12 edge. First time in a while they outshot the Cavs, and that's why they ended up winning by a blowout. And here again, fast break points, 14-8. Points in the paint, 48-26. A plus 22 edge, points in the paint. And that's the most consistent indicator when looking at basketball, is when you can score down low, you can dominate down low. Detroit has had that edge throughout in this series. I still feel they're the better team overall. And home court is strong. Once again, home team 11-2 still in all Cavalier playoff games this year. And more importantly, over 70% historically in NBA Game 7s. If you're going to play it, I would lay it with the Detroit Pistons minus the 4.5. Would not take the Cavs, hoping they can stay within a couple baskets. If you like Cleveland, definitely look at the money line, or at least sprinkle some of it there. But I like Detroit. I think they're the better team. They're at home. They keep that momentum going, and they win this one laying the 4.5. Now, as I do this video late Saturday night for you heading into Sunday, there are some injuries to look at. Larry Nance Jr. downgraded to unlikely to play Sunday for the Cavs with an illness. Duncan Robinson with a back injury is questionable. He did play. He had 14 points in Game 6. Karis LeVert, also with a heel injury, is questionable play. He also did play in Game 6 the other night. I would expect them to go, but they are banged up, so that's a little bit of a concern. What's interesting, though, is if you look at the box score, and another positive, in my opinion, from the Game 6 the other night, is Tobias Harris, somebody that I told you I thought would bounce back, and I liked his over prop. He ended up with only 6 points. If you told me Tobias Harris was only going to have 6 points, I would not have thought Detroit was going to win by 21. I think that's a good sign. He had foul trouble. He had 4 fouls in that game. He only played 25 minutes total and only took 7 shot attempts. Tobias Harris up and over, probably worth a look here in Game 7 as he's still a critical player. And Cade Cunningham, 21 points, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, nothing crazy in 42 minutes. And once again, they won by 21 still. So I think that's a really good sign. Who I consider the two most important players, Harris and Cunningham, below average games, and Detroit still won the game by 21 points. We'll talk more about player props in a moment, but real quick on the total. As you know, Game 7s historically are low scoring, much lower scoring than any other games in the series. For years, we took advantage of unders in Game 7, and they were like clockwork. In fact, over the past decade, at one point, they were on like a 90% under run. Well, as I told you in the last round when we had 3 Game 7s in the Eastern Conference, the odds makers, the betting public, have caught on to this trend, and they really are adjusting totals down now. You know, it's the same thing that happened about 6-7 years ago with the Game 3 teams down 0-2 back at home. The first half line is often higher than the full game because, once again, historically, those teams do very well in first half, especially when a home team is down 0-2 in Game 3. But the betting markets have corrected that, and now it's become almost a 50-50 play on the blind. Same thing now with these over-unders. We've seen some really low-scoring Game 7 still recently, but you're losing a lot of total value. To put this in perspective, Game 1 in Detroit a few weeks ago, same court, same teams, was 216.5. Now it's 206.5. So this is 10 points lower than the Game 1 line game. And that, of course, that game landed 212, stayed under, so they put it at 214.5. That game landed, 204. And then when they went to Cleveland, it was 211.5. It got up and over to 225. Then we got a 213.5, landed 215. 210.5 for the last couple games have been around that 210 range. Now, the Game 5 overtime game was only, I believe, 206 in regulation, landed 230. And then, of course, the recent blowout game landed 209, right around the total, which is around 209.5, 210 on Friday. So 206.5, you could definitely make a case for the under being a Game 7. It is 10 points lower than the Game 1 line on the same court, but we have seen several games in this low 200 range. If you're looking to play a total, since I like Detroit in this game, you might want to look at a team total under for Cleveland. Their team total currently around 101.5. Cleveland team total under 101.5 maybe would make some sense if you lean towards Detroit. Really, whatever side you think you're going to lose, you could always play their team total under because Game 7s usually do have more defensive focus. And Cleveland, so far, their 3 losses in this series, they have scored 101 or less in all 3. 101, 97, and 94. So if you do think Detroit's going to win, team total under for the Cavaliers, under 101.5 does make some sense to me on Sunday night. All right, we'll look at some more player props here. I mentioned Tobias Harris, Cunningham have to have big games, and they both stayed under in the last game, so you could take a peek at their overs. Now, of course, Game 7s usually are lower scoring, more defense, so I'd probably prefer to have some Cleveland players under, and you know where we're going with this. Let's fade James Harden. He's actually had a pretty good series overall. He was 6 for 13 in Game 6 the other night, 23 points. Donovan Mitchell, 6 for 20, only 18 points, but he got a lot of shot attempts. But look, if Cleveland loses, Harden probably regresses, right? And he's had a monster series, by the way. 23 points or more now in 3 straight games. And the games in which he missed, he had 22, 10, and 19. So he scored 22 or more in 4 of the 6. And he's priced at 18.5. So, you know, there isn't a lot of wiggle room here. He's having a good series, but I think we probably could look to fade Harden if you think Detroit's going to win, as I do. So we'll fade James Harden under 18.5, see what happens there. Not in a hurry to fade Mitchell. He's a great player. He had a monster game a few games back. Did regress a bit as we thought he might with only 18 points. But once again, he took 20 shot attempts. Harden, by the way, only got 13 shot attempts. He was 6 for 13, 8 for 10 from the line. Now, he has been doing a good job of getting to the free throw line, and that's a concern. But he only took 13 shot attempts in 37 minutes. If he doesn't hit over 50%, he probably does not get up and over the 18.5. Some other guys we'll talk about. Allen, 5 for 6, got to 13 points, but he was basically a perfect 5 for 6 almost from the field. Jared Allen's been inconsistent at times in this series. He's priced around 12.5. Keep in mind he had that awful game 1 with only 2 points. Then he bounced back as we thought he would in game 2 with 22 and then 18. Now he's had 9, 16, and 13. Jared Allen under 12.5 might be worth a look. He was 5 for 6, did not get a lot of shot attempts, and still finished with only 13 points and basically was perfect from the field. Mobley had 14 shot attempts. Evan Mobley, I'd be kind of neutral on him. Sam Merril, my namesake, on his 30th birthday, we took a birthday over and it hit. Merril had 10 points. He got up and over the 5.5 in every game so far, and I see it bumped up now about to 6.5. We never fade Sam Merril, even though he spells his last name with 2 L's. He almost got it right. What are your thoughts on some player props, side, totals? How are you looking at this Game 7 Sunday night on Prime? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hey, include some analysis if you have time, so we can all learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. And of course, if you're liking these videos, all I ask is a quick thumbs up like. And if you're on your mobile device, click the hype button. Hype it up on your mobile device and click the thumbs up there as well. And I do truly read the comments, love the support. Positive comments always encouraged. 1% of you get negative. The other 99% of you are great. Set the sucker straight. Let's have a great Sunday. We swept the board on Friday with Spurs and Pistons, and I'm coming right back with the Pistons here in Game 7 on Sunday night. And I will have your Game 1 Western Conference Finals. Do we dare say the NBA Championships series between the Spurs and Thunder? It's sure looking that way. They're the 2 best teams in the league. I'll have my complete thought and side total player props on that tomorrow on Monday. So make sure you click subscribe and you click the bell here on Wager Talk TV so you never miss out when an NBA playoff free play video is posted. And also when daily baseball free play videos are posted. I'll have some free baseball for you tomorrow on Monday also here on the channel. So click subscribe, click the bell. So close to 250,000 subscribers. We're over 248,000 now. Make sure you're one of them. Click subscribe and click that bell for an instant alert. Now, I want to give you a side total player props on every playoff game this postseason. Obviously, a lot of these are light TV lanes only. Hey, sometimes it makes my best bet card. Both the Spurs and Pistons on Friday night in Game 6, I gave them both to you free in the videos, and they both were 4% best bets for my clients. The only way to know for sure what games I'm using in my strongest plays are my 4% personal best bets. Every client gets them every day on my page at wagertalk.com, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com, and I also post a bonus free play on that page each and every day, which is the last cut, just a bit outside from being a personal best bet. Think about it. I'm very selective, and when I cut a game it was close to being a best bet, that's still a really strong opinion. That you might want to treat as like 2% of bankroll. So if you're new to sports betting, if you're still building your bankroll, if you're doing your own handicapping, as I know many of you do, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com, and while you're there, check out some special offers that are still available this month of May. 3 days for $49. All sports, all access. All these specials, by the way, are all inclusive, which means you get every sport, every play, every day. 3 days for $49. 1 day all access is $39. Or you can get 3 days right now for just $10 more. No promo code needed. Or if you want a little bit of a longer term investment approach, the 30-day sampler is a great option. The 1 month all access is normally $299. Nope, just $199, and I'm including 10 more bonus days. So that's 40 days for just $199. A $100 discount and 10 more days included for free. Wow, 40 days for just $199. Or the best long-term investment is the 1 year all access, and this is such a great time to get on board because you're going to get all of next year's college and pro football seasons complete, start to finish, the complete college hoop season, the complete NBA regular season into the first couple rounds of the playoffs, the rest of this year's playoffs, next 4 months of baseball, first couple months next year of baseball. You get the picture. 365 straight days, all sports, all access. And oh, to make it even better, an instant $811 discount. Why that exact number? Because it gets it down to exactly $99 a month, $3 a day, about $1 a play for every sport, every day, consistently. Look, it doesn't matter if you get the 3-day sampler, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year. Everyone's getting the same plays each and every day. My personal best bets. And it's always been that way since I started nearly 30 years ago, August of 1996. That's right, this summer will be my 30th anniversary as a full-time professional sports bettor and handicapper, and it has always been the same. If I'm using a play, if I'm using a game, every client gets it, and you get my strong best bets for Monday night right now, along with that bonus free play on my page, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com, and hey, get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Like, subscribe, comment below, hype on your mobile device, And don't forget to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.